Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to my beginners investing masterclass. I'm so excited that you guys were all able to join. Now, just to make sure that everything sounds okay, maybe you can all type in the number 1 in the comments. And if I see your name, if I see your comment, I will give you a little bit of a shout out right now. But if everyone can let me know where they're tuning from, and also their age, so this way I can kind of understand who my demographics are for today, that would be awesome. All right, so let me take a look at the comments. Cool, I see Sun is here and Angela. Hey, Chris. I see Sandy and Daisy E and Mark C, Sunshine 76. Very cool. Oh, thanks for sending me the emojis, everyone. I also see Billy and Bornali and Dividend Hustle is here. I see 392 Stars and Stripes is here. Cheryl Bruner, Liquid, Alina Jackson, Tisha and Janelle and ATK from California. I'm also from Southern California too. So hello to those of you who are also in California. I also see a lot of teachers in here too, like Arthur, and I think there was like 2 or 3 more individuals who are also teachers. Awesome, cool. And then I also see Sophia, Tracy, Gino. I said hi to a couple of you already. And Simone's here, Nancy Ma, awesome, very cool. Susanna and Sanjana and MP, Patrick, awesome. Hey, everyone, guess what? This is a great time to start investing. I want to talk about how to get started with investing in the stock market today. But if you haven't done so already, I highly encourage all of you to do a couple of things right now, okay? One, if you can take out a notebook and pencil, that would be great because I'm going to give a lot of information today. My goal is to give a lot of value, a lot of educational material for you guys so you can get started with investing. So I'm going to talk about Roth IRAs, how much to contribute, how to grow your account to $500,000, $1 million through compound interest, which I'll do the mathematics later. And if you have a friend or family member that you want to invite, feel free to do so right now. There should be some sort of like share button down below. It's like that little arrow thing that you can click on and you can send it, text it to someone, send it through Instagram or YouTube. That would be awesome too. If you don't want to take notes on a notepad or with a pencil, you can also use another device like an iPad or another laptop. A lot of times this is what people do whenever they attend my classes. But yeah, let's get started. I'm super excited. And for those of you who have watched a lot of my videos before, a lot of my shorts, a lot of my long form content, you've been budgeting, you've been very money conscious. You're at that place where you're like, okay, I have some money now, Steve, and I want to start investing. I want to start growing my wealth, but I'm not too sure where to start. Then this is the masterclass for you, okay? But here's the thing, folks. We need to keep in mind that we need to have some money to invest because that's what investing is. We need to put some money so we can kind of plant our seeds and later on we can grow our oak trees, right, in a couple of years. So this is for all of you guys who want to grow your wealth. You are more of that patient person. You have that patient mindset. Then I believe you're going to get a lot of value from this, okay? If you guys are ready, maybe you can type in the number 1 and yeah, let's get started. For those of you who don't know me, hi, my name is Steve. I am a wealth coach. I'm an investor and trader and a former public school teacher. A lot of you know this from my shorts. And if you do a quick Google search on me, most likely you've seen me on Business Insider, Bloomberg, NASDAQ, MarketWatch, CNBC. And really, my goal is to share with everyone all over the world that investing is not that hard. It's not that difficult. I mean, there is a bit of a learning curve in the beginning, but once you learn about money, once you learn about investing, it really isn't that scary anymore. So are you guys all ready? I see a lot of you are typing in 1, like Natalie and Rhonda and Alejandra, Anita, Bentz, and Dina A, and hey, Chris. Crystal says 1, very cool. Remember that this entire masterclass is for educational purposes. I'm going to talk about a lot of the things that have worked for myself, how I grew my wealth. I also highly encourage everyone to keep it positive and open mindsets because I know a lot of this money stuff, we never learned about it growing up from our parents, our teachers. Some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about might sound a little bit strange, but really this is what all wealthy people do. And this is a no judgment zone. So if you're someone who has no idea what a Roth IRA is, or what a high yield savings account is, or a 401k or 403b, and these words and letters and numbers are very confusing, don't worry about it. As long as you're here with an open mindset, hey, that's what really matters. And I know some of you probably already invest right now with your employer. Maybe you already have a Roth IRA, and that's awesome. Some of you probably have like $10,000 in your accounts, or maybe $100,000. Some of you might have nothing at all, and that's okay. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone else. As long as you're here with an open mindset, that's what really matters, okay? All right. So first, I kind of want to talk about some of the things that we may have learned about in school when we were in kids, or maybe in the workforce. And typically there are these 3 lies that we were taught. The first comes from our job, and a lot of times people will tell us that in order to become financially successful, we just have to go to work, a 9-to-5 job for maybe 40, 45 years. And then by the time we're 60, 65 years old, that's kind of like the golden number, the golden age. And then we can retire comfortably. But I'm going to talk about how this isn't exactly true. The second place is really from the finance world, where a lot of people will say, hey, in order to be very good at investing, right? People on TV will say that you have to be very good at mathematics and business and have a PhD in economics, but that's completely not true too. And the third place is really from the government, where maybe a lot of people, maybe our government officials, they'll say, by the time you hit 60, 65 years old, don't worry, the government's going to take care of you with Social Security, and you can live off of that forever, pretty much. But again, I'm going to do some math with you guys to show that this isn't necessarily true. I'm going to show some data, some statistics, all right? Which is why, again, it's so important that we learn how to become financially independent. We don't need to rely on anyone else. So what if I told you guys that there was a way to learn about money, right? To actually do things, right? To have an actionable plan with getting started with investing. What if I told you guys that there was a way out of this whole rat race thinking, right? And there is. That's why you guys are here in this masterclass. So feel free to type in 1 if you know that you should be investing, but maybe fear is holding you back. Or maybe you can type in 1 if you already invest, but you're kind of confused if you're investing in the right things. Or you can type in 1 if you have minimal debts, very low interest debt, but you want to pay it off as soon as possible and start investing. And this is actually my favorite. Type 1 if you want to generate passive income while investing for the long term, because you can actually do both, which is through dividends, selling covered calls, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Awesome. I see Sandy and Donald and Sam Soam and Kimberly and Naomi West. And I see Vegan B says 1, Mark C, Amy Barton, Ulysses Royal, Chelsea. Very cool. I also see CE and Maru, Miguel Furrer, Lizzie R says 1, Patrick says 1. Awesome. Well, guess what? This masterclass is made just for you. And I highly encourage everyone to stay until the very end, because I'm going to do a Q&A session. A lot of you sent me your questions last night and also this morning. So I kind of compiled everything into like a question bucket. I'll answer all of those at the end, and I'll also answer your questions live. I'll also be giving away some free $40 value gifts only if you stay until the very end, okay? So this is to encourage you guys to get as much value as possible from this class. So a couple questions here. Were you told that you need to be smart and know how to pick good stocks in order to be a good investor? Or maybe you were told that you need a lot of money to start investing. Or maybe you were told that you need to be completely debt-free to invest. I mean, for myself, I have a mortgage. I have, credit cards that I pay off every month, right? And as long as you are responsible with debt, then yeah, you can absolutely invest. I know some people will say that they want to invest after they pay off their 30-year mortgage, right? Which is maybe not the best idea. So yes, you can still invest if you have debt, right? And really, these are all myths that a lot of people told you. And my goal for this masterclass is to kind of demystify everything. And really, this is why I started Call to Leap. We have over 5,000 students right now and over, I think, 2 or 3 million followers, subscribers across all social media platforms. So again, thank you everyone who has supported and followed our page and really just engaged with our entire community over the past several years. If it weren't for you guys, my team wouldn't be here right now. So a lot of people, when they first initially meet me, or maybe when they DM me or they email me, because I get a whole bunch of emails and messages every day, they'll ask me this question: Steve, is it possible to become financially free before the age of 65? And my answer is yes, absolutely. But the thing is this, it really depends on what actions you take right now. What are your habits? What are your wealth habits, right? This is something that I talk about a lot in all of my videos, because really who you become is dependent on the habits that you develop now. Okay, all the small little actionable steps that you put in right now, because those compound over time. And a lot of times I, share this story with people. I know people will say, oh, Steve, you were probably born rich. Maybe you came from a wealthy family, but that's actually absolutely not true. My mom and dad are from Taiwan. They're immigrants. They came here in the mid 80s to start a new life, like with many immigrants. My dad went to school. My mom, which is this person right here that you see, she worked a whole bunch of different jobs. She was kind of like the main person to get money for our family. She was the sole breadwinner for our family, and she worked at like places at Dairy Queen and a lot of these restaurants as a waitress. And she also worked as a maid. And I remember when I was younger, when I was around like 5, 6 years old, I used to kind of follow my mom around after school and go to house to see my mom clean other people's houses. Like she would be vacuuming their floors, their rugs, folding their clothes, and then she would cook dinner for them too. And while she would do all of this, I would sit at this couch or a whole bunch of couches and kind of do my homework. I would kind of draw on my notepad and just watch my mom work really, really hard. And she'd be like super stressed out every day. And I remember at the end of every shift, we would both go back to our car. And I don't know, sometimes she'd kind of like tear up a little bit and be like, oh, I'm so tired today, honey. And a lot of times, and this is kind of the thing that I remember most, when we get into the car, she would turn to me. And she would say this to me all the time. And, I still remember it today. She would say, when you grow up, I want you to 用你的头，不要用你的手. And translated in Mandarin, that means I want you to use your head, not your hands when you grow up. And basically, this is kind of like the thing that my mom and dad taught me, where they said, when you grow up, we don't want you to work a laborious job. We want you to work in an air-conditioned room, where you're wearing a shirt and tie and you get to comb your hair really nice and people respect you, right? And, they basically said, you got to study hard right now as a kid, go through school and pretty much just a lot of the things that our parents taught us, right? So that's pretty much what I did. I got pretty good grades in school, decent grades. I took my SATs. I went to college. I got my master's degree in education. I got my teaching credentials in California. And I basically just became a teacher in public school for California. And you can see a couple pictures of me and my past students here. And I thought that, hey, when I first got my teaching job, I thought, man, I was like a big boy now. I was telling my mom and dad, like, hey, I have checks coming in. I have a salary. Like, aren't you guys proud of me? And I thought that I was doing like what every responsible person was doing. I was investing my 403b. I was saving a lot of money because I was very frugal. That's kind of one of the things that my, Asian parents taught me, to be very frugal, to live below my means. And of course, I was working a lot of hours. I was working 10 plus hour days, because for those of you in here, you guys know that being a teacher isn't just, whenever the bell rings, all the way until when the bell rings. We oftentimes have to go to our classrooms early to lesson plan, print out copies of worksheets, tests, quizzes. We also have to stay after school for parent, teacher, staff meetings. A lot of stuff goes on with being a teacher, right? So of course, I was doing that, and I was just saving my money. And this is where I learned that being an adult is kind of hard, because once I got a couple of my paychecks, I learned about this one thing: taxes. That the government takes a lot of money from my paycheck, right? And especially with me, because I live in California and it's very expensive here. And I was like, I don't understand. Like, how is it that people are able to retire comfortably? I did the math, because I used to be a math teacher, and I did some calculations. I was like, wait, this doesn't make sense. Even if I were to live very frugally, live very humbly, save all my money, there is absolutely no way for me to retire comfortably by the time I'm 60, 65 years old. And what I did was I went online and I was trying to search up, like, how is it that all these wealthy people became wealthy? And this is when I discovered this community called the FIRE community. How many of you guys have heard of the FIRE community? If you have, maybe you can type in what it means in the comments. Maybe you guys know what it means. But if you don't know what it means, it's okay. FIRE basically stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. How many of you have heard of this? Maybe you can type in the number 5 in the comments. But essentially, what the FIRE community was there is this group all over the world where they were able to retire much earlier than the age of 60, 65 years old. They were able to become financially independent at 50 or 45 or even sometimes in their 30s, right? Depending on how aggressive they were with increasing their earned income and with their investing. Awesome. I see a lot of you are typing in 5, like Sylvia and Helene and Maru and Harry Chin. Very cool. So I kind of studied what the FIRE community was, and essentially they did these 2 things. Are you guys ready? This is really the secret sauce. It's not that big of a secret. But 1, all of these people who retired early became financially independent. They all live below their means. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, all of them invested. Because this is the biggest lesson that I learned. You cannot save yourself to wealth. You have to invest. You have to let your money work for you. And then this is really the whole theme of today's masterclass. How do we learn how to let our money work for us, right? How do we let it grow? Because this is something that not a lot of us have learned when we were kids, or, something that we learned from our teachers or from our parents, right? So after I learned about investing, about the FIRE community, I was also very fired up. I continued to live below my means. I tutored after school every day. I wanted to increase my earned income, and I invested all my saved money, all my extra earned money, and put it towards the stock market. And I was able to grow my net worth to over $1 million through doing this. So I have a question for all of you guys today. What does financial freedom mean to you? Okay, so think about this, let it marinate. I know whenever I put out a poll on YouTube, Instagram, many people will say that they want to spend more time with their friends and family, or maybe they want to pursue their passions or travel the world. But again, financial freedom means something different to everyone. So what does it mean to you? Maybe you can let me know in the comments, and I'll read some of your comments right now. Cool, Leslie says to travel the world. Oh, thanks, Chelsea, for helping. A length. Thank you. He says to pursue my passions. Sam says to retire early. Rita says to have freedom. Robert says he wants to travel. Lizzie says being able to retire. Maramar says to live comfortably. Dribble says to travel. Awesome. Jeanette says to be debt-free. Oh, I like this. Pumpkin says to retire my family. Some of you guys want to retire your parents. That's very noble of you guys. Harry says to have stability in life and to be stress-free. Paola says to travel the world. Awesome. Wow, a lot of you guys. Betsy's like all of it in capital letters. And really, the thing is, there is no right or wrong answer, but essentially what I believe is financial freedom is we just don't want to worry about money, right? And we want to become essentially work optional. Like if we want to work, we can. If we don't want to work, that's okay too, because we have money coming in, we have cash flow coming in through dividends or cover call premiums, which I'll talk about later, and we have assets growing over time. That is really what financial freedom means, right? To be stress-free from money. Now, here's the thing. Whenever I talk about money to other people, I share the importance of investing. People will say, Steve, this whole money thing isn't for me. Like, I don't need to invest right now. I'm still young. I can work until I'm 50, 60, 70 years old. I'm going to be okay, right? But here's the thing. There are a lot of statistics out there that show otherwise, that show that not a lot of people are able to retire comfortably, that they don't really want to work, but they actually have to work, right? Here are some statistics from the Bureau of Labor of Statistics. They indicated that back in 2020, 10.6 million people 65 years and older were still in the workforce, not because that they wanted to work, but it's because they had to work. It's because they didn't have enough retirement savings. Articles from CNBC says that 40% of Americans, middle class, may face poverty in retirement. Forbes even said that Americans are worried about retirement savings, and they should be, right? And if people will say, well, what about Social Security? Well, a lot of times we don't even know if Social Security is going to be around or even if it's enough, right? Right now, the average Social Security check is around $1,700, $1,800 per month. And I know for people who live in New York, in the coastal areas, California, $1,700, $1,800 monthly checks is not going to cut it, which is, again, why it's so important that we learn how to become financially independent. Typically, 1, 2, or 3 things will happen when we don't invest, when we don't learn about money. First thing is we might have to downsize our lifestyle, right? So instead of going out to eat all the time, going out for vacations, then a lot of times we have to cut back when we retire, or we might not be able to go at all, right? We might even have to move to a smaller home. The second thing is a lot of us might have to ask for family support. I know a lot of my friends, a lot of my family friends, they still take care of their mom and dad and even their grandparents. How many of you guys know people like that? Or maybe you're one of them. Like maybe you're taking care of your mom and dad right now. Maybe you can type in the number 3 in the comments. Or what happens is a lot of people will have to, again, like what I said, they have to go back to work at the age of 65. So my thing is, I don't want any of this to happen to any of you, okay? I want it so that by the time you are, 50 or, 45 or whatever age that you reach financial independence, that instead of you asking your kids to help you, to give you money, you are actually helping them and passing down generational wealth to them, right? Because how many of us wish that our parents were able to help us out? Maybe you can type in a number 2. Awesome. I see a lot of people typing in number 3 right now. Very cool. So, well, Steve, why is it that people don't invest? Or why is it that they aren't money conscious? Well, it's because people fear what they don't understand. And this is a famous quote by Andrew Smith. So what can we do? Well, we can use knowledge as our weapon because like what I said before, once we learn about money, it is not going to be scary anymore. I promise you. So here is the good part of the masterclass. I'm going to share with you guys a couple of secrets to money, to investing that not a lot of people really talk about. And if you want to take notes, it is a great time to do so right now. Okay, so here's secret number 1. Investing and trading can be passive. I think a lot of times people think that in order to be a good investor or trader, you have to sit in front of these monitors, 6 monitors, and you have to be typing and clicking and clacking. No, you can absolutely do this with the convenience of your phone or with your laptop or your iPad. Very easy. You can open up a brokerage account with a lot of these brokerages. The brokerages that I like are Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard. Okay, these are kind of like the top 3. If you're someone outside of the United States, you can even look up Interactive Brokers. This is something that a lot of my members, a lot of our community members use. So once you choose a brokerage like Fidelity, Vanguard, or Schwab, okay, I personally use Fidelity and Schwab, but you don't have to use it. You can use whatever you're comfortable with. You're then going to open up a brokerage account, okay, some sort of account. Typically, it comes down to these 2 accounts, a Roth IRA and a taxable brokerage account. Write that down. Typically, you want to start with a Roth IRA if you live in the US. If you are in Canada, you can look up TFSAs, right? They're very similar to Roth IRAs, but with a Roth IRA, they are so cool. I mean, you can invest in a Roth IRA, put money inside, buy assets, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And as it compounds to $1 million, I know that sounds kind of like silly, but really a lot of people have like $1 million accounts here, right? All that money is going to be tax and penalty free at 59 and a half years old. Crazy stuff, because a lot of times people worry about taxes, right? Like people, when they retire, they're like, oh, the last thing they want to think about is getting another hit by the government, by Uncle Sam. And with a Roth IRA, you can totally get all your money tax and penalty free. I am not kidding you on this. All tax and penalty free. When I share this, people are like, really? Really? Okay. And once you have your Roth IRA, you've maxed that out, right? You can open up a taxable brokerage account, right? A lot of my members, they have both accounts, one for retirement and one to also for retirement, and also a little bit of cash flow for income. All right. And again, like what I said, you can invest if you're outside the United States. Okay. Just look up Interactive Brokers. Now, once you do the first two steps, you chose a brokerage like Schwab, Vanguard, or Fidelity. You open up an account like a Roth IRA and taxable brokerage account. Step 3 is you're going to put in money, and now you're going to buy assets. So a lot of times people get overwhelmed with investing because they go, okay, Steve, I don't know what to invest in. Should I invest in Meta, Google, Amazon, Target, Walmart? I don't know what to invest in. Now here's my thing. Don't invest in individual companies if you're a beginner. What you can do is you can invest in an S&P 500 index fund. I know some of you are like, oh, I hear this all the time. S&P 500 index fund. So let me break it down for you, okay? S&P just stands for Standards and Poor's. 500 represents the top 500 companies in the United States. So a lot of these brands, companies that you look around in your room right now, seriously, like take a pause, look around your room, look outside your window, look at your hand, right? Most likely there's a brand that is part of the S&P 500, like Meta, Walmart, Visa, Google, Amazon, right? A lot of these things that we use on a day-to-day basis, they are part of the top 500 companies in the United States. And these are the responsible companies that have proven for many, many years, right, that they are able to sustain their company, that they're able to actually generate revenue. So what I say for beginners, like everyone watching this, is you can invest in an index fund, S&P 500 index fund, or an ETF, an exchange-traded fund. So when you buy one share of this fund, you're basically investing in all the top 500 companies in the United States. Let me take a pause. How many of you are investing in S&P 500 funds right now? Okay, there are a lot out there. There's SPY, VOO, IVV. I mean, I can make a whole entire list, but I don't want to overwhelm you guys, okay? They all do the same thing. Really, they all do the same thing. Okay, you just want to pick one and just stick to it, all right? They're just from different companies, but they all invest in the top 500 companies. How many of you invest in S&P 500 funds? Maybe you can type in the comments which S&P 500 fund you're investing in. Maybe it's an ETF or something like that. Cool, I see Ashley says me. Emma says me. Leah says me. Very cool. Sarah says VOO. Spencer says VOO with a whole bunch of exclamation marks. Monica says I am. Makani says aloha. Aloha, Makani. Cool. Bornali says VOO and SCHD. Very cool. I'm going to talk about SCHD in a little bit. F. Gale says VOO. A lot of you guys. VOO, SPY, QQQ, VTI. I'm very proud of you guys right now. You guys are so good, so responsible in investing in these. Okay, sorry, I'm just very excited right now. But yes, that's awesome. Oh, some of you are investing in, I think Shanikia is investing in FXAIX, which is a mutual fund that tracks the S&P 500. Very cool. Okay, so a lot of you are already investing in the S&P 500. Perfect. Now, for those of you who don't know what the heck we're talking about, it's okay. I want to break it down, okay? So this is one of my favorite ETFs. This is SPY. It's what I personally invest in. You don't have to invest in this one, okay? I like this one because I get to sell covered calls. Well, if you take a look at the long-term chart, well, we've been doing very well. There has been a lot of ups and also a lot of downs too. But overall, if you take a look at that long-term perspective, you can see that the S&P 500 likes to grow over time. And really, if you take a look at Google, you can search this up, read any investing book out there, magazine, whatever. The S&P 500 typically grows 7 to 12% annually. This doesn't mean that every year it's going to grow 7 to 12%. Some years it can be down -20, -10%. Some years it can be +10, +20, like this year, right? It's like up more than 20%. But over time, it's around 7 to 12% average annual return, okay? Now, here's the thing. I know a lot of people, when they start investing, they get kind of, I don't know, they get a little bit focus on the short-term day-to-day trend. Like today, we had a down day. Like they see red and they're like, oh my gosh, the stock market's going to crash. But here's what I say to all investors. Take a deep breath, breathe, take a step back. What does the long-term view say? It says that the S&P 500 likes to grow over time. Regardless of what the news media outlets tell you, they're going to try to scare you into saying, hey, there's a recession tomorrow. at, 2 p.m., the stock market's going to crash. 7 analysts that predicted the crash 2 years ago is predicting that there's going to be a crash next week. There's a recession coming and 40% of the stock market is going to be wiped out. Okay, great. So we're going to stay away from the news, okay, folks? Okay, a lot of times these news media outlets, their whole goal is to scare you, so you'll click into their articles so that they'll be able to let you read their articles so they can show you their ads, make money off of you. But as a long-term investor, I want everyone to stay calm and stay patient, okay? I know the stock market's rising right now. Everyone's excited, okay? But later, when the stock market drops, you're going to see all these negative news come out and say, oh, it's because of blah, blah, blah. Hey, stay invested, because really, who wins the race? The turtle always wins the race, right? Okay, we're going to stay patient. And here's the thing. When we start investing, we want to make sure that we're investing in responsible companies, the S&P 500, right? Like Meta, Walmart, Nvidia, Amazon. We do not want to invest in companies that are hyped up. Meme stocks, IPOs, right? These penny stocks, GME, AMC, Nokia. I know it's all over the news and everything. It's very sexy. People will talk about how an 18-year-old made $5,000 in 2 days. Stay away from the news, okay? Ignore the noise. Ignore the noise. Because a lot of times when people invest in these irresponsible companies, they lose a lot of money. And I don't want you guys to lose a lot of money, okay? We're going to be patient investors. I know the S&P 500 is boring. It's like, I'm investing in Walmart and Amazon. But really, this is how all people do it, okay? Even Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of all time, he invests in, guess what? The S&P 500, okay? Hopefully everyone gets my message here. So how many of you guys are learning a lot right now? Maybe you can type in a number 5. Hopefully that feeling of fear is slowly dwindling away. Okay, I see a lot of you are typing in 5. Oh, that's awesome. Very cool. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about some of your favorite topics, right? How do we make income, Steve, right? Well, for me, I like to make income through cover calls and dividends. All right, cool. I see a lot of you typing in 5 right now. Kelly says 5. Diana Igna says 5. Dominique says 5. Ethan Young says 5. Lacey and Natalie, Miranda, Kenya, Ariana, Iris, Ray Lyra says 5. Perfect. I see a couple of you are typing in the emoji thing. Thank you guys. All right, so let me kind of just share with you some of the dividends that I've collected in the past. This is what I invest in. It's really nothing, it's nothing special, okay? It's like SCHD. I talk about this a lot, right? WM, which is like waste management. I have a share of Lockheed Martin. There's Meta, Google, Microsoft, Home Depot, MasterCard, Costco. And this is pretty much the dividend payouts that I get on a quarterly basis, right? And with selling cover calls, I don't do anything exciting because I have a whole bunch of shares. I'm able to sell cover calls against my shares, right? If you have more than 100 shares of a particular stock, you can then sell covered calls, right? Hopefully these stocks are part of the S&P 500, like what we talked about. And here are some of the premiums that I've collected, right? $128 from QQQ, which is a technology ETF. There's Amazon. I love Amazon. I sell a whole bunch of cash secure puts and cover calls on Amazon right now. There's Costco, MasterCard, Microsoft, Nvidia, okay? This right here, this is not covered calls. This is a LEAPS option. I'm not going to talk about that. This is why we're called to LEAP, because we sell covered calls and we trade LEAPS options. It's a little bit more advanced, but very exciting during a bull market. But this is essentially what it is, okay, for collecting dividends. I want to talk about both dividends and covered calls. Basically, what dividends is when you buy a share or stocks of or ETFs that pay a dividend every quarter or so, you're going to get paid a couple of cents or a couple of dollars per share that you own. Very cool stuff, right? So you buy a share, you hold it in your portfolio, money just comes into your account. You don't have to do anything. It's very automatic. It's kind of like with a high yield savings account. How many of you guys have high yield savings accounts in here? Maybe you can type in the number 1. But have you noticed that you have higher interest now, right? Money just goes into your account instead of getting 10 cents, right? 20 cents from Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America. You're getting like maybe $50, $100, $300, depending on how much money you have in your high yield savings. This is the same thing. You hold on to these dividend paying assets, right? Stocks or ETFs, and money just comes in. It's very similar to rental income where of course, you buy a $500,000 house, and then you can rent out your rooms for $1,500 a month. Now, here's the magical part of it, okay? Because people don't think about this as investors, as beginner investors. Two things are going to happen for you, right? As an investor. One, the asset is going to appreciate, grow in time. The house, like if you take a look at the housing market, you've seen that it's been growing, I mean, just forever, right? It's going to continue to grow too, right? That's how real estate works. The house is $500,000 now, but you might think this is ridiculous when I say this, but in the next 30, 40 years, it is a high probability that that's going to be around $2.5 million. And with rent, right now, it's around like $1,500 a month. Again, this might sound silly, right? But because of inflation and everything, rent is going to be around $7,500 a month later on, right? So the thing is, I want to shift everyone's mindset into, yes, you might be renting right now, but what if we can turn it around and become the renters, right? The person who rents it out to other people, and we are the one who collects the rental income, right? So this is very important. One of my core messages is that I want everyone to become asset owners. You need to own things towards in your life. So this way you have money coming in and you have assets that are going to appreciate in value so that you can even potentially sell it and then get some money back later on, right? Okay, I'm going to talk about covered calls later on, so hang in tight, okay? This is from Frida. She says, I wish I heard about Call to Leap a lot sooner. Financial freedom is absolutely possible, and we're now able to help others with the extra funds we earn from options trading, which is selling covered calls. Thank you, Steve and his team, for sharing their valuable knowledge. Thank you, Frida. Hopefully everyone's learning a lot. Hopefully the dividend segment makes sense and you guys are taking notes. If it is, or if it did, maybe you can type in a number 1. Okay, so here's secret number 2. You actually don't need a lot of money to invest. What you really need is time. I want to explain why this matters, why this is the most important variable. I would say one of the biggest popular questions I get all the time is, Steve, how long does it take to become a millionaire? Now, I'm not saying that everyone needs to become a millionaire. Some of you might, okay? Some of you might not need to. It depends on your living circumstances. But let's make some of the numbers nice and round, okay? So we can understand why time is an important factor. If you say that you want to retire at the age of 70, or just grow your account to 70, not necessarily retire, but just grow your account to 70 years old. You're getting an average of 10% average annual returns from the S&P 500, okay? And you're starting at the age of 20. What you really need to invest is really just $75 a month. That's it. But if you're someone who says, you know what, I don't want to do this right now, you procrastinate, wait until you're 30, then you have to then contribute $200 a month. And then if you wait until 40, $500 a month. If you wait until 50, you're going to have to contribute and invest $1,500 a month. And if you wait until you're 60 years old, you're going to have to contribute and invest $5,300 a month. So this way you can become a millionaire by the time you're 70 years old, right? With average stock market returns. Now, here's the thing, folks. With investing, it's not some sort of magic genie lamp where it's like, oh, I put in money and then overnight I'm going to become a millionaire. No, that's not how it works, right? We need time. We need to kind of plant that seed and let it grow over time. Like a tree doesn't just grow all of a sudden. And it's the same thing with investing, right? But that's just why a lot of people don't want to invest, because people want that instant gratification, right? That we don't have that delayed gratification kind of built within us, right? So we have to learn how to become patient, because I promise you, just by investing a little bit of money every week, every month, right, it becomes significant amounts later on. And if you're someone who says, oh, I want to become a millionaire in 1 year, how do I do it? And I have no savings, I have no retirement funds. I want to say that it's pretty much impossible. Okay, it's pretty much impossible. This is why we need time. Okay, we need time. All right, but there's some hope here, because, hey, everyone can start investing. No matter if you're 40 or 50 years old, you can start investing right now. As long as you have at least 10 years that you want to just let your money grow passively, oh my gosh, like you can get started right now, especially for those of you who want to get started before 2025, because this is when a lot of people start investing, and it's just a great time to get your finances in order. So the next question I get is, Steve, can I still invest even if I have low interest debt or not a lot of money? How many of you guys have mortgages right now? Maybe you can type in the number 1, because I do right now. And the answer is yes, absolutely. You can still invest with low interest debt and with even a little bit of money. So let's take a look at my two friends here, Derek and Ali. Let's say that Derek, he saves $1,000 a month, okay? And he puts it into a regular checking account, which you should never do, okay, folks? We should be putting it in at least a high yield savings account or the stock market and letting it grow over time. And over 40 years or so, Derek is going to have around $480,000. However, if you take a look at Ali, instead of saving her money, she invests her money every month, right? $1,000 a month in 40 years, you know how much money she's going to have? Around $5.3 million. You might think, Steve, is that a typo, $5.3 million? Absolutely not. She basically has more than 10 times the amount Derek has just because she invested her money. Right? Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't save your money. Of course, you should save your money. You should have an emergency fund first, right? And then with all that extra money, you shouldn't be saving it anymore because there's opportunity cost. You should be investing that money because you need to go into that wealth building mode, that exponential growth mode, right? Now, I know some of you might say, Steve, I don't have $1,000 a month. It's okay. We're going to take baby steps, right? Because that's what I believe in. We're not going to just jump in the pool right away. We're going to slowly take some steps, work ourselves out up there. How many of you guys can invest $100 a month? Maybe you can type in the 100 emoji into the chat. But if you can, well, let's say Ali invests $100 a month over the next 40 years. Her portfolio value is going to be around $530,000. And what is so cool about this is that if you break it down, she basically only invested $48,000 of her own money. The extra growth is $482,000 of free money because of compound interest. Amazing. Amazing, right? I see a lot of you are typing in 100, like Nat Lee and Maru and Swan Wen and Chelsea Berry and Mello, and DL says 100. Very cool. A lot of you are typing 100, 100, 100, 100. Cool. Crystal Turner, Jessica Swan, Talis Beanie says 100. Very cool, right? So we can start off with $100 a month, slowly increase it to $125 or maybe $200 and slowly up to $500, right? If you take baby steps, it's going to hurt less. I promise you, all right? So this is from one of my students, George. He says, I really appreciate Steve breaking everything down. I feel more comfortable trading options or selling cover calls and having another income stream that will allow me to get closer to financial freedom. Thank you, George. This is from my other students. Bad Rad says, Steve, you are such a great teacher. I love how informative you are. Steven says, I make consistent money because of you. Steph says, I finally understand options. And D. Rosales says, the courses are great. I highly recommend them to everyone. Thank you, everyone. Hopefully everyone's learning a lot. If you are, maybe you can type in the number 1. You're like, oh, okay, so time is an important factor, right? So type in number 1 if you guys are learning a lot. Maybe investing isn't so overwhelming anymore. Okay, so let's take a look at secret number 3. Hopefully you guys are taking some notes here. You want to make 100K your goal, your first goal. Let's be real here. How many of you have heard of this online, right? Why is 100K such a significant number for most people? Well, it's because of this. I want to share with you some of my portfolio accounts. I recently, one of my Fidelity accounts reached $1.2 million. I'm really excited because, again, stock market has been going up, and within a day, even if the stock market rises like 0.18%, my portfolio increases $2,000, right? Pretty nuts, right? If you think about it. Talk about compound interest later. And for my Charles Schwab accounts, my other accounts, I have around $240,000 in there. Of course, I have my checking accounts, my savings account, my high yield savings account, which everyone should have. So just sharing with you guys because, again, I came from a teaching background, right? So let's take a look at this. Why is 100K so important? It's because of this. Once you first grow your 100K, you save your 100K, you're investing it, you're putting it into the S&P 500, okay, just keep it simple, keep it easy. Well, if you continue to invest, put money inside, say $1,000 a month, right, just keeping the numbers nice and round, getting that 7 to 12% average annual returns, guess what? Your next 100K growth comes in 4 years. And then if you continue to do that, your next 100K growth comes in 3 years. And then your next 100K growth comes in 2 years. And then your next 100K growth comes in 1 year. And basically every year after that, your net worth grows $100,000 a year on average, a year. Why does this work? Why does this make sense? Think about this. Can everyone type in compound interest in the comments? Okay, it's because of compound interest. It is like what Albert Einstein says, the eighth wonder of the world. I don't know if he really said that, but that's what a lot of people say. Because if you think about it, if you were to invest your money to $1 million, right? And the average stock market return is 10%, what is 10% of $1 million? Maybe you can type it into the comments. Let's see if you remember your 6th grade math. What's 10% of $1 million? That's right, it's $100,000. So basically your account value is going to grow around $100,000 every year after that. But wait, it gets better. I sound like one of those infomercials back in the 2000s. It gets better because not only are you going to grow your account $100,000 that following year, but now your account's not going to grow another $100,000 the next year. Because if you add $100,000 back to your initial $1 million, how much money do you have now? That's right, you have $1.1 million. So when you find 10% of that the following year, you're going to have your net worth grow $110,000. And then the following year, you get that, add it back to your principal, you're going to have a net worth grown by $121,000 and $132,000 and so on and so forth. Basically, every year after that, your net worth is going to grow more than $100,000. You're basically giving yourself a raise by going to a job, going to work? No, because you are patient enough to plant your seeds right now and let it grow into oak trees, right? Money just comes into your accounts automatically without you lifting a finger. You can be at the beach, you can be on your couch watching Netflix, right? Watching the latest Marvel TV show. That's what I'm into, right? And really, that money just comes in. This is what all wealthy people do. This is what Warren Buffett does. This is what all of my friends, wealthy friends, right? All the wealthy people I meet online, they all invest and their net worth just grows without them doing anything. It grows passively, okay? How many of you guys want that in your lives right now? You want to have passive growth in your life. Maybe you can type in a number 1. Cool. Edwin says jackpot. Yeah, a lot of you know $100,000. Yeah, Ali says $110,000. Elizabeth says 100. Very cool. Awesome. So this is what my students say. This is what from Steven. Steven says, Caltily helped me find an option strategy that actually works. I learned how to be successful with investing in options trading or selling covered calls and spreads and how to actually grow my accounts responsibly. And this is from one of my favorite students. This is from Moga. She says, thanks to Call to Leap, I now sell covered calls and collect premiums every month. My portfolio has grown to almost $28,000 in 6 months through investing and contributing money into her account because she's very disciplined in doing that. I am now on my way to financial freedom and working towards breaking the cycle of debt in my family. Thank you so much, Moga. And this is a very powerful message because whenever I get emails, DMs from people like this where they say, hey, I am going to be the person that breaks my entire family from financial shackles, right? From debt. This is like, I'm like, oh my gosh, this means a lot to me to see that, wow, like we're making a difference, that people are starting to invest and that they're taking control of their financial lives. And here's the thing, folks. I really believe that everyone in here, you're here for a reason, okay? You're watching this with an open and positive mindset, and because you are the one that will change the entire trajectory of your lives. I believe that it only takes one person, just one person, to learn about money, right? To learn about investing, and they are able to change their entire family's lives into the future. And that person, I really believe, is you. Okay, you can make that difference in your family's lives, especially if you have a family or you're about to start a family. Because once you learn about money, you learn about all this stuff, right? Investing. Yes, I know you can pass down money to your kids and your kids' kids, because how many of us wish that our parents passed down money to us, right? But not only that, you pass down the greatest gift of all. You pass down generational, not wealth, generational knowledge. Generational knowledge, because now you can teach your kids how to invest. You can teach your family members, your cousins, your nieces, right? Maybe even like people who are older than your aunts, uncles, your parents, how to invest, right? I have a lot of community members where they're helping their parents getting started with their Roth IRAs, and they're like, okay, I'm a little bit more cushioned now, right? So it really just takes one person to change their entire family's lives, and that person is really you. Okay, can I get a little amen to that? Okay, so I have a question for all of you guys right now. Do you guys want my help? Do you guys want to invest with a strategic plan to get to financial freedom? Maybe you guys want to. Maybe you can type in the number 1 in the comments right now. John Lee says, okay, Steve, you got my vote. Thanks, John Lee. Crystal says 1. Rosario says 1. Diana says amen. Mello M says amen. JH responded. Barbara MP says yes. Very cool. Rebecca and Rosalind. Top Secret says 1. Angela, Morgan, Woodrow, Jimmy, Stephanie, May D. Lai says 1. Very cool. So I want to share with you guys that my stock market membership for November is open to everyone right now, open to all of you guys watching this right now. And this is from a couple of my students in the past. Eugene says, shout out to Steve. Thank you for making difficult concepts easy to understand and for your coaching. Another student said, ditto Steve, I started off monthly, and after a couple months committed to the year, it's worth it, and you'll make money to pay off the membership in a brief time. Jessica says, I just started with the program about a month and a half ago, and oh my gosh, it's the best thing I ever did. I made so much money in a downward trending market. Mosquito says, I've been a monthly premium member. Last year, I generated $30,000 in premiums. I highly recommend it. And yes, I talk about how to make money when we go up in the stock market and even when we go down in the stock market. A lot of different strategies that you can do. So what is this? Well, basically it's a self-paced video class. It's a Q&A coaching class where you can ask me and my coaches questions, and you get to see my weekly investments and trades, because I know a lot of people, they get a little bit overwhelmed. They're like, oh, I don't know what to invest in. I kind of want to see what Steve is investing in right now. And if you feel comfortable, you can do the same thing as me and what I'm doing in my portfolio. So this is for you if you're someone who wants to passively grow your money and let it work for you, or if you want to spend more time with your friends and family, or maybe you want to pursue what you're truly passionate about, or maybe you're someone who wants to build wealth and buy a house later on. This is what a lot of my community members do, where maybe they will put their money into the stock market, let it grow over time, and then they'll sell some of their S&P 500 funds, get that money, and then put it into their house, right, as a down payment and build equity there. This is for you if you want to generate passive income to pay for your vacations. This is what a lot of my community members do with premiums and dividends. And this is for you if you want to build generational wealth and generational knowledge. Now, here's the thing, folks. I am very serious about this, okay? I do not want you to join if you are not financially stable, all right? This is not for you if you are looking for a get-rich-quick scheme. This is not what it is. Okay, we are investing like turtles. We're being patient. And over time, we're going to grow our portfolios to 6-7 figures. This is not for you if you want to trade crypto or Forex or penny stocks or do day trading, because that takes up a lot of times. It's very high risk. You're going to lose a lot of money. We want to be responsible. This is not for you if you are in serious credit card debt, or if you don't have consistent income, especially for those of you who have families to take care of. Take care of yourself and your families first, okay? And once you have your money, your books in order, your cards in order, then you can join, all right? Now, what's inside? Basically, there's 30 plus videos that teach you how to get started with investing. I have more videos coming up in 2 months for 2025. I'm very excited for that. And yes, everyone in here, you guys are able to get access to that. You know, if you're a part of the membership, you get 25 plus quizzes to make sure that you understand the concepts, because I am a teacher at heart. I want to make sure that you understand everything. You get 30 plus FAQ board, which talks about all the top questions that the community asks all the time. I know some of you who may be introverts like myself. A lot of times in class, you don't want to ask that question. You're kind of like sitting in the back of the class. You're waiting for someone else to answer it or ask it so that the teacher can answer it. So this is made for all the introverts there, out there. I compile all the top questions and I put it onto an FAQ board for all of you guys. And you get access to my supportive Discord community where you can ask all of your questions, okay? Because I know that when I first started, it was very scary for me. I didn't really have anyone to talk to. But once you join the community, you can ask me, my coaches, everyone, the community members, like, hey, what are you investing in? What are you doing right now? And we're a very welcoming, very warm community. And this right here is a $6,000 value. I have one student who says, I'm almost at the leap stage, currently at $1,000 from selling cover calls. So much appreciation. Now, my membership is broken down into 3 different levels. Level 1, where we talk about investing in the wheel strategy. And this is where we generate income by selling cover calls, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Level 2, leaps options, which are long-term equities, anticipation securities. This is where you can really increase, exponentially grow your portfolios by buying these contracts, specific contracts. Level 3, we talk about spreads. Whenever the stock market goes sideways or down, you can actually make money, believe it or not, okay? I talk about all these strategies within the membership. And if you sign up today, only for those of you who are in this live chat right now, I'm going to be giving out 3 bonuses right now. So bonus number 1, you get access to my full Discord community. Bonus 2, you get to see all of my content, videos, and blogs from a year ago, everything that I've invested in a year ago, okay? Bonus number 3, wealth building coaching call. I'm going to be getting on a call with everyone who signs up, and I'm going to be talking to you guys. I'm going to be answering all of your questions on a Zoom call next week. So it's going to be very exciting. We're going to get you started for the new year, right? And I'm going to be sending you guys some emails to get you guys started with opening up your accounts. We're going to send some accountability emails here because we want to make sure that you guys get started. And really, this is the only place that I share my specific strategies. And he says, I love the content, went through the courses, and now can confidently say that I have a fantastic grasp on wheels, leaps, and bear call spreads. Thank you so much, Andy. So what's inside? You get access to level 1 to 3 video classes, which is a $1,000 value, my quizzes, coaching and Discord community, and my weekly articles, a $2,500 value. Bonus number 1, if you sign up right now, only for people in here, you get access to the entire membership for 12 months. It's an annual membership. You can quit anytime you want, but it renews every year. And, you can just see if you like it. I'm positive you're going to love it. Ask me all your questions. Get integrated into the Discord wealth building community. Bonus number 2, you get access to all the bonus content, all my videos, my blogs, everything, all the things that investments that I made over the past 12 months or so. And bonus number 3, a welcome live coaching call. You get onto a call with me, my coach, Ben, who's in the chat right now, and get to ask us all of your questions, okay? And thank you again so much, Ben, for answering everyone's questions. Yeah, Ben has been a great help right now. If you guys go into Discord, just a couple of things to be mindful of for those of you who are going to join. Make sure that you are talking to Steve CT on Ben W with a period. Okay, there are a lot of imposters out there. Be careful if it says anything otherwise. They don't have the tags like the roles right here. Don't believe them. I know there are a lot of scammers on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube trying to pretend to be me. Please don't fall for it. I'm never going to ask you to take your money to invest the money for you or anything like that, or put into like crypto or Forex or anything like that. Okay, so please be careful. And so congratulations. For those of you who stayed all the way until the end right now, I am having a 48-hour Black Friday sale. So this whole entire membership is a $6,000 value. Typically, it goes for $1,997, but right now, for the next 48 hours, I'm dropping it down 50%. I'm opening up my registration for the first 50 seats, 50 students only, okay? Once that gets filled up, I am going to close registration. And if you guys want this deal, what you can do is go to invest.calltoleap.com and type in this code right here. So this is not available to the public, only for you guys. If you type in dividend 99, you're going to get that 50% off discount. And not only that, this is a no risk 14-day money back guarantee. If you take the class, you go, hey, I don't like it, I'm going to give you all your, we'll return your entire money to you, okay? Give you the full refund. But I do ask this, okay? You need to make sure that you actually try it. Open up your Roth IRA, actually get started with investing, get onto that coaching call with us, okay? So this way you can kind of understand like, oh, what's this whole investing thing about? And watch the intro videos, okay? Intro and level 1 videos so you understand. Because really, this is kind of like with anything in life. If you're going to sign up for a gym membership, but then not go to the gym, then this isn't going to be beneficial for you. This is not for you, okay? This is only for people. I'm only looking for students who are actually committed and actually serious about this. If you are someone who says, I want to get my finances together, I want to start growing wealth in the stock market, this is going to be for you. You're going to see all my strategies on how I was able to grow my wealth, okay? But again, you have to take the classes, okay? But yeah, it's a no-risk 14-day money-back guarantee right there. All right. Now, again, if you want to sign up, because I know some of you guys are signing up right now. Hold on. Okay. Go to invest.calltoleap.com. There's a link down below. Click on the button where it says Get Started and type in dividend 99. All right. Awesome. Oh, congratulations, Ashley, who just signed up right now. Okay. So we have, I guess, 49 seats right now. Very cool. Okay. So let me answer some of your questions right now because a lot of you asked me your questions in yesterday's question bucket, and you have questions right now. If you have questions right now, make sure to write it down in your notebook. And if you're going to ask it, please ask me in a complete sentence because I typically like those questions more, all right? First question is from Angela and Jen. Angela and Jen says, can I keep or lock in the discount offer? Will this change next year? No, this will not change next year. You can lock it in. Once the price increases, which it will in the next 48 hours or whenever the 50 seats gets filled up, I am not going to change the price on you, okay? Next question is Ed, Miklo, King, Jamie, or Jaime, Connor, and Prua. How do you sell covered calls? Great question. Okay, hang tight, folks. Let's talk about covered calls because a lot of you guys asked me about this. This is what covered calls are. So with covered calls, you first have to own 100 shares. Typically, I say you want to own 100 shares of S&P 500 funds, like these blue chip, high quality stocks, okay? And say that you buy them for $100 per share. We're keeping the math very simple. $100 times 100 shares, that's a $10,000 investment. So you want to have at least $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 of cash to actually generate this income, right? It's kind of like rental property, but you don't need $800,000, $500,000 to buy a house. You can use $10,000, $20,000 to generate income here. Now, once you have this, what you can do is go to this thing called the option chain. The option chain is basically this marketplace where you're looking for people who want to buy your 100 shares. And let's say that you find this guy named Craig. And Craig's like, oh, hey, I want to buy your 100 shares. Cool. But the thing is, Craig doesn't have enough money right now to pay you to buy the 100 shares. But, he's like, you know what? Can I reserve my money, put down my money for you, pay you some money so you can hold onto the shares so you don't sell them to anyone else? Can you hold onto them for a month? So it's kind of like getting a rain check. Like when you go to the supermarket, they have a sale or whatever, right? You get a rain check because they ran out of stock or whatever, right? You're like, oh, can I buy it later on? Very similar. Craig is going to say, can I get a rain check? Which is kind of like the covered call. And you're going to say, yes, I'm going to give you the covered call. I'm going to sell you the covered call. But in return, you need to pay me money. And this premium is going to be around $200, $300, right? It's going to depend on what strike you choose. But typically, these contracts can go for $100, $200, $300, $400 worth of premium. You collect the $300 just by holding onto the shares for Craig not to sell to anyone else. Now, here's the beautiful part of this. This premium that you get, you keep it no matter what. Because I sell things on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace. How many of you guys use OfferUp on Facebook Marketplace? Sometimes don't you get people where they say, oh yeah, I'm going to go over to your house or meet you at the parking lot to buy your thing, but they never show up? It's kind of annoying, right? But what I sometimes do is I say, hey, pay me $5 on Venmo, $10 just so I can hold on to some money, and then I will sell it to you once we see each other in person. So this is very similar. But the beautiful part is this $300 is not part of the entire sale. It's completely different. So if he doesn't want to buy your shares in a month, awesome. You get to still keep the $300 because you held on to the shares, right? And you get to keep your shares. Very cool. And the next month, you get to keep selling covered calls for another $300, another $300. Very cool. It's kind of like rental income where you're just selling these contracts over and over again. And of course, if Craig decides to buy your shares for, let's say, $101 per share, you not only get to keep the $300, you get to sell your shares for a higher price. So if you bought your shares for $100, and you sell it to Craig for $101, well, that's a $1 difference. Times 100 shares, that's another $100 of capital gains. So you make $400, right? Very cool stuff. And you can buy another 100 shares, continue the trend again, sell covered calls. And this is a great strategy whenever the stock doesn't go anywhere, right? Like you can get to sell these covered calls over and over again. As long as the stock price doesn't go anywhere, or if it does, if it goes up, you can sell your shares for a higher price and get that capital gain. Okay, so that's pretty much what covered calls is. Very cool stuff, but it only works well for certain stocks. Okay, so not every stock here. So I want to give you guys a warning here. Okay, so if we think about bigger picture, if you're someone who has one contract, well, that's around $300 a month, right? I'm not going to even talk about the capital gains, but what if you have 10 contracts? That's $3,000 a month. What if you have 30 contracts? That's $9,000 a month, right? How many of you guys can use an extra $9,000 a month? Maybe not now. Okay, you're going to get the $9,000 a month, but we're going to gradually over time get up to that place, and then you can start to collect $9,000 a month, right? This is something that I've done. I do right now, right? I'm just collecting money over and over again, selling covered calls, collecting dividends. And yes, you can do both. You can collect dividends and sell covered calls on dividend-paying stocks. Sorry, I'm getting really excited talking about this. It's really exciting. I'm like, oh my gosh, how come I didn't learn about this sooner, right? But that's essentially what covered calls is, okay? All right, great question. Hopefully that answers a lot of your questions on covered calls. Oh, congratulations. I see a couple of you guys already signed up. A lot of you guys just signed up. So we have a couple of seats left. I see DVB just signed up, and Adriana and Edleen just signed up. Spencer and Stephanie, Jessica, Ohe and Julie and Audrey and Jan, Chris, Aaron, Eric, Phoebe. All of you guys, congratulations for signing up. Welcome, welcome. Hey, here's the thing. If you guys are in there, make sure to sign up for Discord. I'm going to send you an email later on, and it's going to invite you for the Zoom call, all right? So get registered for that so we can have our coaching call together. And wait for the emails where you get to start opening up your Roth IRAs, make your first investments. Just follow everything step by step because I really teach you guys how to do everything step by step. Congratulations. We have around 36 seats left right now, 36. Okay, and we're going to close registration soon. Very cool. All right. Next question is from Katie and Kapil. How can I invest for kids? Oh, that's a great question. How you can invest in is you can open up an account called a custodial Roth IRA. So something that a lot of my friends, a lot of my community members do is when they have kids, they will have their kids act as a model, or maybe they'll have them babysit or maybe tutor other kids. I know a lot of my friends in high school, they tutored other kids, like middle school kids. And because they have income, now they can open up a custodial Roth IRA and you can invest for them with that money that they earned. Very cool stuff. And do the same exact thing. Invest in S&P 500 funds. Keep it simple. Great question. Liam, Debbie, Hester, and Han say, what are your favorite stocks and dividend-paying stocks? Okay, so my favorite stocks, if you want to write this down, I really like Costco. I like Meta, Amazon. I also like Microsoft, Visa, MasterCard. I know this is boring. Waste Management, Walmart, okay? So these are kind of like the dividend payers. I also like dividend paying ETFs like SCHD. It's a high dividend paying ETF. I also like technology ETFs that track the NASDAQ 100 like QQQ. Great question. Okay, next question is from Gloria, Liana, Lindsay, Javier. Any ETF recommendations? Yes, SPY, QQQ, and SCHD. Those are my top 3 that I usually invest in. You don't have to invest in these. That's what I invest in, okay? Chase asks, how would you allocate your portfolio? Oh, this is a wonderful question. And Chase, I actually made this slide just for you. So If I were to invest my first $10,000, this is how I would do it. Different options. It depends on what your goals are. If you're someone who wants something a little bit more balanced, you can invest $4,000 into SPY, S&P 500 funds, maybe $3,000 into technology companies, and then around $2,000 into a dividend-paying ETF, high dividend-paying ETF like SCHD. If you're someone who's young, you have a lot of time in your hands, then you can invest more into QQQ. It's a little bit more volatile, but over time, it usually has more growth. If you're someone who says, I don't like the volatility from QQQ, technology companies, you can invest more into SCHD, boring companies, right? Or into SPY, into S&P 500 funds. It's more on the boring side, but you have more cash flow. Option D, if you just go, hey, I just want to invest in S&P 500 funds like SPY or VOO or IVV or FXAIX or SPLG, just choose one. That's it. Just choose one, guys, and keep adding to them, okay? You can do that too. Keep it simple. Okay, so for Chase and all of you guys who are still asking for this, if you want to take it a step further, if you want to invest $100,000, if you're someone who wants it more balanced, this is what it is. I would start to invest, for me, okay? I would invest in long-term individual companies like Costco, Walmart. Those are the ones that I like. I would use around $30,000 in the wheel. So I would sell cover calls, cash secure puts to generate income, and have around $10,000 as cash or in money markets. If you're someone who wants to keep it simple, ETFs, that's fine. If you're someone who says, hey, I want a whole bunch of money, like $10,000, $5,000 a month, whatever it is, right? High cash flow, SCHD, high dividend paying ETFs, or the wheel income, this is where I would go. But you want to see what your goals are. Great question. Okay. If you have questions, go ahead and type them in right now. I'm going to answer them right now. If you want to sign up, this is a great time to do so. Again, it's invest.calltoleap.com. The code is dividend99. A lot of you are signing up. Wow, a lot of you guys just signed up. We have around 32 seats left. That is crazy. Oh my gosh, 32 seats. Okay, so let me give you a shout out to people who just signed up, like Kubert, Leto, Yam, SA just signed up, Andrew and Patrick and Vanessa, Sarah, Rita, Emma, Dwayne. Again, 14-day money-back guarantee if you don't like it, but please, you have to take the class though. Okay, you gotta take the class. So again, it's like the gym membership. You need to make sure that you actually go to the gym and follow your coach's workout plan and you eat healthy, right? Eat more vegetables. Same thing here. We're gonna, not eat vegetables, but open a Roth IRA, invest in S&P 500 funds. We're gonna get started here, okay? All right, great question. Thank you, Ben. And if you guys have trouble signing up, you can email our team at info@calltoleap.com. And again, once you sign up, wait for that email, okay? For those of you who just signed up, Ben and I, we're gonna send you an email. You get to jump on a call with us, and then we can talk about investing, how to get started with investing, answer all of your questions. Oh man, you guys are awesome. Bornali says, do I reinvest dividends? Great question. If you are in wealth building mode, the answer is yes. If you're someone who's investing in your taxable brokerage account and you want cash flow, a lot of my members, they will typically just take out their dividends and use it as money it's more of an emotional thing, like a reward system for them, where it's like, oh, hey, I want to reward myself and use my dividends for maybe buying Christmas presents or a vacation, okay? They put it into their high yield savings account or something like that, okay? But typically, a lot of people will reinvest their dividends. Great question. Awesome. Oh, a couple of you just signed up again. Very cool. I'll give a little shout out here. If you have questions, please ask me in the comments right now in a complete sentence because I do appreciate those questions. All right. Ashley just signed up, and Stanley, Charlene, Alessandro, Anna. Very cool. Kalpesh just signed up. Carson, Kubert, Latoya, Andrew, and Patrick. Very cool. Welcome, welcome, everyone. And I am coming out with a whole brand new beginners series of videos, all for you guys who just signed up, and you guys are able to access it firsthand, okay? And it's gonna come out in January, so I'm very excited about that. Very cool. Laura says, Steve, please recommend some books about wealth, investments, investor mindset. Oh, yeah, Laura, this is a great question. Laura, I really like Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, Psychology of Money. And this is one of my books I'm reading right now. It's by Scott Galloway. It's called The Algebra of Wealth, I think. It's a white book with green letters, black and green letters, Algebra to Wealth. That's a great, great book. I love it so much. Oh, and I really like Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's not necessarily a finance book, but it teaches about having positive habits, which it really does integrate with building wealth, right? Because it's all about wealth habits, right? Positive wealth habits. Great question, Laura. Hi, Latoya. Hi. Diego says, what do you think about robo-investors like wealth funds? I don't use robo-investors because you typically do have to pay a fee. I like to do it myself. So it's up to you. If you want to do it yourself, you can. If you want to go with a robo-investor, you can. But remember, if you learn about this, robo-investing, they don't sell covered calls for you, okay? Or not that I know of. So when you learn about this, you have more autonomy, then you can make more money, right? You know how to kind of balance your portfolio and all that great stuff. Great questions. Thank you, Laura. Thank you. James says, classic. Spencer says, do you have any great podcasts you would recommend? Yeah, Scott Galloway. I am more business-minded, so I like listening to, what's his name? Alex Hormozy. I also like, oh my gosh. What's his name? Stephen Bartlett, CEO, Diary of a CEO. Have you guys heard of him? Great. I love him. Yeah, those are the ones that I can think of right now. Very cool. Clint and Kelly says, is this achievable outside the US? Yes, it is. So if you are someone outside the US, you can still invest. You can look into Interactive Brokers, or whatever, brokerage that you want to go with, that you're comfortable with, and you can invest in U.S. stocks and ETFs. Okay, just ask them first, can I invest in U.S. equities, securities? If they say yes, then you can go for them, okay? Great questions. And yes, you can sell cover calls all over the world, all right? Selling cover calls, I know when I say this, people say, oh, do you call someone? No, you don't have to call anyone. So I'm an introvert. I'm like, I don't want to call anyone. You basically do this on your app. You can just click on a button. It's just a couple of clicks, and then you sell the contract and you collect money. And the money automatically goes into your accounts in a day or so. So very cool stuff. Bello Marcos is looking forward to start the course. Awesome. Yeah, a lot of you guys are very excited with selling covered calls. Very cool. Yeah. Michelle says, hi, Steve, how much of a cushion should I keep in a high yield savings account? Around 3 to 6 months. That's typically standard. Great question. Very cool. I'm going to give a couple of shout outs to some people who just joined. Oh, very cool. Let me see. We have around 24 seats left. Jeanette, welcome, and Sihi, and Simone, and Pia, Brandon, Katie, Fernando, Ann, Dennis, Marina, Roy, Simone again, or is that maybe it's just another Simone? Okay. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Congratulations. Wait for those emails to come by, and you can then get register for the welcome coaching call, and then get started with opening up your Roth IRA, your accounts, watch the intro level classes, watch the cover call videos. If that's what you're interested in, you're going to love it. Great questions. Let me see here. Sexy Chick says, how soon can you sell cover calls? Well, as long as you have the funds, you can get started. If you're a beginner, though, you can start investing first to kind of test the waters of how the stock market works, because there is going to be volatility, right? So see if you're comfortable. Once you feel more comfortable with as an investor, then you can kind of slowly become a cover call seller, okay? Brian says, Steve's Fire Group. Thanks, Brian. Barry says, what's an HSA? An HSA is a health savings account. So a lot of people, they will open up an HSA, but you can only open one up if you have an HDHP, which is a high deductible health plan. And it's very similar to just like a regular investing account. You put money inside, you can invest in ETFs, and you can let it grow tax-free. So you have triple tax advantages. And not only that, with an HSA, you can use that money to pay off medical bills or qualified medical bills. Very cool stuff. I know a lot of people, they have their Roth IRA, taxable brokerage accounts, HSA, maybe they're investing in their 401k, but only up to the employer match, okay? The company match, no more than that. I don't really like 401ks because they have limited options, but if you can invest or contribute up to the company match, you basically just double your money. Very cool stuff, right? And then also some people, like teachers, they invest in a 403b. Like I invested in my 403b. I'm going to be honest, I didn't really like my 403b. If I could start over again, I would probably just not invest in my 403b because the one that I had, it kind of sucked. They didn't really allow me to invest in a lot of options, which is why I like Roth IRAs and taxable brokerage accounts. There's more flexibility involved. Great questions. Jeffrey says, what stocks are good for covered calls? That's a great question. If you want to invest or sell covered calls on an S&P 500 ETF, SPLG is a good one, or maybe like QQQM if you want to have a little bit more volatility. For me personally, I'm selling covered calls on Amazon. And what else am I doing it on? Sometimes I do, I do it on Microsoft. I do it on Costco. Costco is a little bit more on the pricey side, but I've been collecting Costco shares for years and years and years. So, Costco might not be good for you. Yeah, I mean, anything that is part of the S&P 500, I like, okay? And has a good chart, high trending charts, just based on the technical analysis. I talk about how to choose a stock in, I think, video 5 or something like that within the membership. Great questions. Oh, and also Ben and I and a couple of the other moderators, we share all of our cover call trades. We share like every week or every other week what cover calls that we're specifically selling them on. Just letting you know, okay? So if you need a little bit more hand-holding, it's all on Discord. So sign up on Discord once you join the membership. Great questions. Luther says, do you recommend buying split shares? Yeah, I do. You mean stock split shares? I do. I currently invest in Walmart. They had a stock split. Amazon, Apple had a stock split. Chipotle had a stock split. I really believe Costco and MasterCard are going to have a stock split soon. And Meta, I believe. I think in the next couple of months. I thought they were going to have a split like maybe this month or next month, but we haven't heard any announcements. But and SCHD just had a split too. Very cool stuff. CE says, I need more hand holding. Okay, I'll hold your hand, CE. You can come join and then talk to us and then we'll chat there, okay? Great question. Very cool. All right, everyone. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys for joining. And again, if you guys want to join right now, this is a great time. It's at invest.calltoleap.com. Use the code dividend99. And for those of you who just stayed all the way until the very end, I am going to share with you all, only for those of you who are here, my book that I wrote. It's a $40 value book. You're going to love it. I dropped a link down below. That link is going to expire though, okay? So make sure you guys grab that. And yeah, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to email my team at info@calltoleap.com. If you just signed up, congratulations. I see Mariana and Bruner and Arthur and Jennifer and Joy just signed up. We have around 20 something seats left. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think we're going to close up seats soon and we can start talking there. All right. Thank you everyone for joining. You guys are awesome. And I will see you all in the next live stream. Goodbye, everyone. Have a good night. I'm going to say goodbye to a couple of people here. I see Priscilla says, thank you. Thanks, Priscilla. Thanks, Billy Duke and Chelsea. Thanks everyone for joining. Thanks, Donald. The link is down below. It should be down below in the description box. You might want to open that up. Yeah, you too, Naomi. Thanks, Sophia, R, and Jill, and Edwin, and Caitlin. Thanks, Caesar. Thanks, Christopher, and Kathy, Mario, James, and Anna, Mike. Thank you, Christina, and Alberto, and Emily, and Shirley, and Chris. Thank you, James. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, guys. Oh, thanks, Rose. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ben, for helping. Ben and I will see you guys in the membership. Thanks, Ashley. Thanks, Tree. Thanks, Gladys. Thanks, Jessica. All right. Okay. Bye, guys. All right. I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Bye, everyone. Have a good night. Good evening. Bye.